Here we are in beloved Barber's bedroom that we created for him at Avatar's Abode. We had so little money that what we built for his house was actually a wool shed. But within that wool shed, we created this timber room within the walls so that it's quite separate from the rest of the building. And it's constructed entirely of Australian timber that we are told will last 1,000 years. The mattress is still here, the pillows, the cushions that were used for him to sit against when he was on the bed. Here is his sandals that he's worn, and of course a case that will preserve them. And here is the chair that not only did we carry out of this room when we were gathered in the main part of the house for meetings, but long arms were put on, and that chair was the one carried with Barber to the meeting hall on that first day. And here is the table for Barber, and you can see that we ran out of time because the legs are actually old pineapple packing cases. And in the far corner is his potty chair that was so that he would not need to go out of the room. That is the room as it was when Barber was here. Now, there were times when I remember him sitting on this chair and myself sitting in the corner there of the carpet, and Erich and the other Mundley standing around. I think Barber gestured that Francis and I could sit. The Mundley, Maher Barber's disciples who came with him, I don't ever remember them sitting. They always seemed to be standing with Barber. But anyway, we were allowed to sit, and so that is my favourite spot in this room. I sit there and I remember looking towards Barber, and it was so lovely. He was so natural and casual, but interested, asking questions about the property, about this and that, and of course one's attention remained so easily and comfortably and naturally on him. One became easily absorbed by his incredible animation. We would carry Barber's chair out through these doors and place it just here outside, and when he would sit in the chair, we would then sit on the wooden planks that had been brought over from the meeting hall and placed on oil drums. Because, as I've said, we didn't have money in those days, and we certainly didn't have money for chairs. The four men Mundley would be with Barber, of course, particularly Erich standing to Barber's right to gesture, to interpret his gestures. And the other three would always be there. The men Mundley, as I've said, never seemed to sit. They were always standing with Barber. A beautiful symbol of service. And here in this cabinet are various items of beloved Barber's that we preserve. Here at the bottom are two what are called sadras. That is, they're long white cotton gowns, you could say, that are known in India as sadras. And Barber frequently wore one of those over cotton trousers, and then at times, if it was cold, this type of jacket. This, I think, was his favourite colour, because it was Mayor Irani's, Mayor Baba's chief woman disciple's favourite colour. He always did whatever was pleasing to her. And here, on one of his numerous alphabet boards, he used many over the years. He would wear them out because of the constant use. Of course, as you know, Mayor Baba was silent for 44 years. And although in the beginning he wrote his messages on a slate and then happened to dictate messages from a newspaper or something like that, and that gave the Mandalay the idea of printing the English alphabet on a board with the numbers at the bottom, which Baba then began using perhaps after a few months of maintaining silence, maybe a year. And he used that until he gave that up in October 1954. And thereafter, he used his own unique system of gestures and expressions. But I can tell you from my personal experience that even when I was alone with him, Erich did not happen to be there, I knew what Baba was conveying to me. Of course, it was a simple thing, but I somehow knew. And again, as has been often expressed by everyone, he was so expressive. It was so, his facial expressions, the movement of his eyes, of his hands were so beautiful and arresting that there was no difficulty in being absorbed totally in what he was saying to one. Here on this shelf are a pair of Mayor Baba's sandals, which, as you can see, one has been built up higher than the other. This was because after Mayor Baba's second car accident, which occurred between his first visit to Australia and his second, the hip joint of his right leg was badly injured, fractured. And although the doctors said he would never walk again, he did, with difficulty. And also over the years, the right leg shortened because of that injury. And so his sandals were adjusted in order to assist him in walking evenly. Of course, as I've said, this section here were the planks placed for us to sit on while we were with Baba in those meetings in this house. But here, back here, across here were curtains placed to hide the 4 beds that had been brought in for the 4 men Mandalay. This section, as it was their living quarters. And they had, of course, Baba had his room at the other end of the building. There was also this table, although it's been done up since, but that table basically was here against that wall when we weren't around, with a few chairs for them to sit and have their meals.